Hello, you're listening or watching or both Epic FM, the UK's number one Hordes and War Machine podcast. Are we allowed to still say that? We say that all the time. And then flailing and amazing. We've done one episode and one stream, and we're like, we're the number one podcast. It's probably a bit brash.
Nearly the number one.
Almost. We're a podcast. Yeah. Welcome to the show.
On the UK charts.
Number one has-beens.
The community is so friendly now that, like, we're all number one. We're all friends. I mean, there is no ranking. It's just taking part. Yeah, welcome to the show. So today, this is the first of the series of podcasts we're doing called What's the Meta With? And this week, we're going to be talking about Legion.
Ooh.
Everyone's favourite faction. Brett, you've got a real affinity with Legion. You've played them for, like, ever. First game I ever had. Do you remember the first ever game I played a War Machine where Brett killed me turn one? Well, I had one turn, killed me top of two.
So I was taking it easy on you.
Yeah. He was like, I can kill your caster really easy. I was like, oh, this is a fun game. No, it worked. You got me into it. Yeah, you've always loved Legion, haven't you, Brett? This is a faction close to your heart.
I'm really worried that this podcast is going to result in me playing Legion next week at a tournament. So my main determination from tonight's podcast is to not be swayed too much. But hey, who knows?
Yeah, no, I want to keep you away. I'm just going to rate everything really badly. Yeah, terrible faction.
The worst game of War Machine I've ever played was against Brett playing Legion with Veil 1 in Mark 2. It literally, so I had a turn, I ran forward, and then everything died. Literally everything, apart from a caster.
How much of it was the faction? How much of it was the player? You know, just like that horrible experience.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I turned up.
We love you.
A nice sort of, fluffy Scorn list. A few warriors, a few beasts, ran everything forwards. As you do. And it still died.
Brett used to blam people with that Veil list. That I have all sorts of people used to moan about it.
Did you give me like a Rampager leash? I bet you gave me the works, didn't you?
Couldn't see for tears. I'm sorry, I can't remember.
We need to bring Rampager back. I fancy doing some solo cast where I just rampage about something like the old days. Those were the days. Anyway, so yeah, we're doing a What's the Meta show. Brett, do you want to give a quick overview of what we're going to be chatting about in the show, what we're going to be looking at, how it's going to roll?
Yeah, so I think our intention was to avoid ranking factions or putting people into S tiers and A tiers and everything else. And what we thought to do would just be really cool to explore sort of how cool and fun a faction is to play. And so we've come up with a pretty unique, if you like, scoring system or rating system. So as we go through things, we're going to have a little look at the casters that the faction has. Then we'll work through battle group, unit, solos, and the theme forces. And then those things will combine to give us sort of an overall playability and fun factor in terms of getting that on the table. But rather than the S tier, A tier, and everything else, we're going with On Cloud 9 as our top ranked rating. So something for everyone and everything is going to be in that ranking. Then we've got In Seventh Heaven as our second ranking. I love all these little cheesy
names you come up with. How long did this take? Like a quiz show.
So yeah, In Seventh Heaven allows for competitive builds, but with varied play styles in there as well. Then we've got Like a Dog with Two Tails. So just really happy. I'm just really happy at that level.
That's like a reverse.
They'd be bullied. They won't be happy. They get bullied to hell. But
no. You know what dogs are.
Imagine a dog with two
tails just wagging like crazy. Imagine a dog with two tails. Like, it's a great image. So perfect for like club games and stories that you'd be able to tell over a beer after you've played a few games of those things. Janky assassinations, those sorts of things.
Gav, basically playing Gav.
Yeah, basically.
It's the least normal way of playing the game.
And so the caveat to that is it can still be competitive if you wanted it to be, but that's probably not the primary aim or the goal of those sorts of things. And then down towards the bottom, we've got Like a Pig in Muck. And
that's still quite good, isn't that? Pigs love that.
Pigs love that.
Well, and that's the key thing. Like, pigs in muck. Like, pigs love muck, but not everyone wants to go and play in that pigsty, do they? So that captures those sort of admittedly not likely to win a convention, but they are just some of your favourite models that you really have a blast with, and then right down at the bottom we just have yikes. So I might be flogging a dead horse, but you know what? It's my horse, and I'm going to flog it because it's just my bay, and so I'm just it's what I'm going to play. I don't care what else you say about it or what I'm doing. It's my thing.
Yeah.
So like a little bit more of a fun take, if you like, on rating and exploring the faction as a whole, to give us some insight as to where we think the faction's at in terms of just their playability and the fun and enjoyment that you get from playing the faction, rather than necessarily is it going to smash the tournament scene, is it going to win you loads of games.
Yeah, sounds great. Let's get into it. Let's do it. Where do you want to start?
So we start with casters, right? We start with casters.
Always good start with the casters.
And I think we've probably got quite a nice little round robin in terms of our cast. So we've got Gav as the outsider.
Just in life.
Yeah.
Just in life. Gav's a real outsider. Just generally.
I experienced Legion from the other side of the table mostly.
Exactly. Yeah. You sit opposite them. So you get to look at them with envious eyes, perhaps, and think, "Oh, I wish I had that in my faction," or "I wish I had something like that." Myself, who likes to dip my toe in a little bit of Legion every now and then, a little bit like a blighted bather. I'm
a blighted bather.
That's a really horrible image.
That is horrendous. That is absolutely horrendous.
Just at home in that little bath, like with my little shredders floating around. And then we've got Paul, who's currently playing them as his primary faction. So we should get a pretty nice, well-rounded, balanced oversight of the faction as a whole. So starting with casters, Gav, whereabouts on our ranking scale would you put casters?
So I've gone for Seventh Heaven. So
Seventh Heaven.
So that's great pieces, allows for some competitive play, lots of different varied builds and play styles. So looking through like the Legion caster lineup, there's some great, outstanding models that you see on there. I really like Bethane 2. She looks pretty cool. Absalona 2, the Thagroshes that are really cool. I've been touched by Callus several times in nasty places.
Which Callus?
Both.
all the Calluses.
Both, yeah. And then the Veils as well. So yeah, they've got a pretty rich stable. In fact, I even remember the twins. I'm not even sure if they're any good in Mark 3 really, but in Mark 2, Paul was.
Yeah, I was loving him in Mark 2.
Yeah, he's rocking the twins in Mark 2 as well. So yeah. I think they've got a pretty varied stable, and all the casters seem to have their own sort of unique play style as well. So that's a really nice element as well. So you're not like you're taking on a faction to go, oh, you're going to play one particular way. They can play lots of different ways by just changing the caster, which is really appealing.
Definitely.
Cool. And if you could play a Legion caster, Gav, in Scorn.
Oh, in Scorn.
We just play. He's going to pick whatever the biggest assassin caster gets. It's going to be a little.
No.
It's not going to be original at all.
So I really like Abby 2 or Bethane 2. I think in Scorn. I think both of those would be really cool. I mean, Bethane 2. I know you've gone off for a little bit, Brett.
She got nerfed, didn't she?
Well, she got adjusted.
Some might say nerfed.
Made reasonable is what I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I still think she's really strong. I mean, she'd be fantastic in Scorn. I mean, I don't know. I think those two, just personally. I mean, Thagros 1 is a nice grindy style. I mean, Scorn wouldn't say no to an extra 2 armor, effectively. And the Signs of Importance on Thags 2 would be quite cool for the battle group.
He's got Manifest Destiny, hasn't
he? Yeah. So, but apart from that, I mean, I don't think all the casters would suit the Scorn playstyle, especially with the beasts. The way that Legion plays with the sort of glass cannon hit and run style, Scorn don't really have those elements as much. So obviously got the Archidon really and a bit of Moloch. But as a broad stable, we're more the sort of the big tougher beasts.
It's a simpler playstyle, Gav. Do you know what I mean? It's a simpler playstyle for a simpler man, I think.
True. Yeah,
I'm only
yeah.
joking. I'm only joking.
As a faction,
No,
they're
no,
viewed
no,
as
no,
that.
they're
That's why you
cool.
catch people out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do. I was thinking that guy I played at the Welsh who had like 7 Archidons or whatever, and then just proceeded to run them at me and blow them up and try and assassinate me. It's
Yeah,
quite,
yeah.
like,
That's a good list.
point and
Mordecai.
click. Anyway, we can talk about that on the score.
So yeah, that's why I'm at. So just a few of the things that they don't really have access to in scoring. The Abbey 2 is pretty cool. The Callus list. I mean, Callus 1. Sorry, that. I was always jealous in Mark 2 of Dark Guidance. Like I always wanted that, but I'm not sure if that is a thing anymore. Would I need that anymore? But at the time, with the whole high def infantry, it was like, I wish I had the spell. But it's amazing how obviously the cycle goes around, isn't it? Not so necessary.
The meta's moved around him, hasn't it? Yeah,
exactly. So the Lilith's not really something I would want in Scorn, I don't think. I say the Veils, maybe not so much. They're a bit more tricksy for what my style. So yeah, I'm going to go for Beth 2 or Abbey 2.
Okay, good choices, solid. So I've put them in Cloud 9.
All the casters.
No, so in terms of their caster options, I've gone Cloud 9. I think when you look through their list of casters, there's so few of them that you wouldn't take. That it just gives them such a deep bench of potential options when it comes to list building and list design. I think on my phone in War Room, by a long way, I've got more Legion lists written than any of the other factions.
All right.
In terms of their options, and when you scroll through the casters, Abyssalonia, Anamag, Bethanes, like even Fianna, Calluses, all of them are playable. Yeah. And I think in some ways the only ones we're not seeing at the moment are maybe the earlier versions of Lilith.
Yeah.
But I simply think that that's because Mechanolith is just better.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to take a Legion, list that's got Ravagors in it and a Bolt Thrower and wants to shoot your opponent, and then you look at your four options for caster that's going to support that process, it's not that they're not playable. I just think one of them is a standout candidate for doing that job. And then you carry on down the list beyond that. Serin, Thagrosh, Vale 1 in particular. Yeah, for me, they're right up there. I think you can basically play pretty much every caster and not feel disadvantaged, even probably at a tournament level.
What about Rias 1?
Well, you say that, but I played against Rias 1 at the Welsh.
I know, that's why I said it.
Yeah. So
did you open beat you?
We'll give a little shout out to Dan Price. He was rocking the twins, but in separate lists. So he got Rias and Serin as his lists. But I think that's probably the point I'm making, Gab, is that there's, their bench is so deep that you're not just picking, right, I've got to play one of these 5 casters.
Yeah.
In my mind, you could quite legitimately play pretty much any of the casters that they have options to. I guess if I was asked to pick one that you would be least likely to see, I would maybe say Vale 2.
Which is weird, isn't it? Because when I played before, Vale 2 was such a strong legit caster. Yeah. She was like, we were chatting about that the other day, weren't we? Because we were saying we were in the car. I can't remember where we were, but we're on about Vale 2. And like, still that spell list is all right, and like her feet's a bit. I mean, she lost a bit, didn't she? Did she lose a death debuff spell? She did. She lost something, didn't she? It was quite.
And one of her magic missiles changed as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So she went downhill a bit.
Did she lose purification as well?
Yeah. That went. Well, she lost.
Pseudo lost it. Yeah. She sort of kept a similar-ish version, didn't she?
Yeah. She got a. I can't remember what it's called, but shoot something, knock a spell off, hit something.
Yeah, but you got to hit, haven't you? That's the thing.
Well, I agree with Brett. I think the caster lineup is so strong, and it's like the diversity of casters that they have that is super interesting. Diversity of casters at a high, like not skill level, but like a high power level. Like Anamag, Anamag is still super strong. Like still a really, really solid caster, but then completely different to like Mechana Lilith. Just completely different play style. So I think the casters I think are up there with the best in the whole game. That diversity. They all do something pretty different. And I also agree with your point, Brett, that like the strength of Lilith 4 is kind of, you know, Lilith 1, Lilith 2, Lilith 3 drifted off a little bit, but still fun casters that you can get out on the table. So yeah, I'd think on Cloud 9 as well for Legion. And cool models, like some cool casters. Thagroshes look sick.
Yeah.
Lilith's are pretty cool, yeah. Super
I've always
solid.
liked the Thagrosh with the paintbrush. That's quite cool.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah. Yeah, classic.
I think the key thing that the dynamic update brought to the Legion caster roster wasn't necessarily the changes to the Legion casters. It was the changes to the battle group points.
Yep.
And then the availability of things like the Blight
Well, the Blight Archon
and
changed
Thagrosh
everything.
Zero.
Yeah,
It just meant suddenly Legion have gone back to being able to run the lists that they loved running in
Yeah.
Mark II.
Yeah.
You know, Legion are now heavy war beasts, big battle group, you know, couple of little support solos, support
Yeah.
units, but they're back to looking like Legion should look.
Yeah.
All the beats.
We talked about this in the card where you were saying how from Mark II to Mark III, Legion lost a lot of its Fury management abilities. No, well, not they weren't lost. They were neutered. Weakened. Yeah. So with the advent of the Thag Zero and the Blight Archon, you can run those beasts and still manage the Fury now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one last point on those casters, that it's the diversity of the feat as well that's so good. You've got casters that will confidently allow you to smash something to pieces with like major strength buffs. You've got casters that will absolutely allow you to hit things. You know, like the diversity of the feats is pretty cool. That Veil Veil 2 is a slight let down. Do you know what I mean? Like that feat and her as a caster. It's a shame because she was quite a cool, skilled like finesse caster. I remember the days when it was like her and Haley were just like going at it.
Yeah.
And it is a shame to lose that, because I think that was a caster that really epitomised what Legion is about. But then Veil 1's got a solid buff, so you can still do that like hit and run tactic. The days of and they've still got access to Refuge. It was Refuge that made Veil 2.
No, she lost it.
No, I know she lost it, but they've still got it. Have they got it on a Callus?
No, I think
it
it's
might be
the
on
same.
Absolutely 1, I think.
Oh, is it
I
on
think it's
Abbey?
Absolute
Right,
One.
so it's still in there. I mean, that was, but the days of Veil refuging and purifying and all that are gone. But there's loads in there to be picked up. Yeah, so they're great, cool. So Gav, you were wrong.
So who would you be playing, Paul, from your perspective? We asked Gav. Gav put forward a Bethane 2 suggestion. Who would you play out of the Legion casters?
Well, I really like Lilith 4. I think she delivers a lot. I think she's a caster that can. I like casters that can end games, but I also like casters that can stay in it. And I think Lilith 4 is one of those casters that, like, don't matter if you're on the back foot, she on her own can just end a game, and that can be quite forgiving. You know, you're like, okay, cool, yeah, I just had a bad turn, I lost a few key pieces, but I'm still in it because I can just kill your caster if you make one mistake. So Lilith 4, I think, is just a good sharp caster that I've enjoyed. And Veil 1 is just cool, just a great cast. Like Insight is an awesome ability. It fixes problems to hit, it fixes problems to damage. Her feat is really good now that you're immune to free strikes on the move. So I really like I really enjoy like solid, sensible position, and then being at alpha and drop out and screen is just a very satisfying process of a turn. I don't really like casters that are point and click, very basic. I've just said I like Lilith 4, but she can be a point and click. She can be a little bit point and click. I'm aware of that, but I like there's still some finesse in like working out those assassination angles and lining everything up. And
what does he have to work out, Paul? Just remind me.
Well, basically,
they're casters within 18 inches of your casters.
No, there's something very. You just need to remember to puppet master.
The feet, and that's it. Yeah.
You don't even know the need to feet, really.
No, his feet are alright.
Yeah, no, Lilith and Veil I think are really cool. Great casters and very competitive.
I think what's interesting, I'll just mention mine, and I think mine are maybe more in that like a dog with two tails sort of category. But for me, Callus 2, Thagros 2 are just an absolute blast to play.
Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting that we've all selected different casters, which is probably representative of the quality and depth of their bench and their options.
Yeah.
But we've not all gone Mechanolith.
Yeah, I mean, you should have done. That would have been the right answer.
I've been tickled by Callus 2 a few times.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, and I reckon I'd give you a game with Callus 2 into Lilith 4.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, it's all immune to fire, that's why.
So I'll play Kador.
All right, perfect. All right, so there's a caster overview. So let's get into battle group. And I mean, it used to be that this was what Legion. This was Razandatra. This is what they're all about.
What? Sorry, what was that you just slipped in there? Razandatra.
French.
Their purpose for existence.
Danke.
All. If you want that to be defined and in some
continental.
We're not all scholars.
Educational and entertaining, Paul.
I know, mate. That's your vibe. That's your USP.
Yeah, you own it.
Yeah, battle group.
So battle group. Go on then, Gav. Start with you. Where are you going to rank them for battle group?
So I'm on Cloud 9 for battle group.
Cloud 9.
Strong.
Cloud 9. I mean, I may be slightly biased because of Mark II days, but I think they've come back a bit, with the adjustments, they've had, the point reductions especially. Like Angelius, I can't remember how many games I played in Mark II against Angelius. They would just rule the table. But then Mark III gone, just literally, they're just not seen anymore. But now they're probably better than they were in Mark II.
Yeah, they're way better.
So
yeah.
They're now amazing. So I looked through the battle group options, and the only ones I think aren't really brilliant are the Afflictor, which is just situationally okay, and the Blight Wasps, because they're lesser, and I can never understand the reasoning behind the lessers. It just the
lessers have lost a bit of their place, I think, in faction.
Yeah. So like taking them from being a unit where they didn't need a Fury to charge, or run, and now they're just a Fury drain or a Fury sink. They're just a liability now to take an extra beast like that. So, and then outside of that, I can't find a beast that I wouldn't take. They're all really, really good, and some of them are excellent. I mean, I was so bitter. I've whinged to Brett so many times about the Archangel. I just can't believe that thing. It's so good. I get that it's 35 points, but it's just amazing. And the fact that it's got a power strength 21 bite. And I know your reasoning, Brett, is it's a dragon. Great.
It's a dragon.
It's a dragon. Brilliant. Okay. But it just shouldn't hit harder than a Scorn Gargantuan.
Gav, you're wanting some how to train your dragon, some little fluffy friendly.
Yeah, little fluffy ones,
little round head,
firing spines, but nobody ever gets hit, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but your Scorn Gargantuans, they're Fury 5 though, aren't they?
One of them is.
Well, yeah. Well, only one of the Legion Gargantuans is PNS 21.
Yeah, but the other one's Fury 5. Okay. So Project 21, but that is also with 3 initials and a really good gun.
Yeah, but the other 2 initials are pretty terrible.
17s, that's not terrible.
Well, that's pretty low for a Gargantuan.
That is a tickle.
Sure. So it's literally just less than the Scorn ones. So I don't know. I've got some extra grind on the power strength on that. It's the same as a Colossal. And obviously they're limited by the mechanic of only having the 3 focus. So I don't know. So I know Legion's problem previously was the beast just didn't hit quite hard enough, and that was always a thing, wasn't it, for Mark II? The casters have had quite a bit of a change with that, so they've had all these little elements that have slowly been adding on, the damage output that's available to Legion.
Just look at Critter.
Then they also just gave it 21. I mean, why not? So yeah, I think they've gone a bit extreme there. But yeah, so I really like the Archangel, and it's an amazing model. Absolutely.
Is it the most expensive gargantuan in game?
I think 35. The Sea King used to be really expensive, but I don't think he is anymore.
It could be up there, couldn't it? I reckon
Yeah.
maybe the premium gargantuan.
How much is
might
it?
Be,
Like 100?
35 points.
yeah, 35 it is, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant. I thought you
Yeah,
meant
the Sea King
literal-
used to be expensive.
Oh no. No, I mean in game.
You mean in game?
I think, yeah. Oh, no, I would buy an Archangel just to have.
You paint mine if you want.
You want me to paint it? What,
No,
gloss?
no, you put it on a massive rock. It looked like a
I
gnome.
would put a massive-
And all your colossals look like they should be in a garden.
They are from my garden.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like rocks of doom.
Yeah. So battle group, amazing, fantastic. So much utility. The Naga just being able to give you blessed and magical in every list.
Well, Gav,
Cash Shredder.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just
That's
going to say
right.
this is just to jump in. So this is the point I'd make about the battle group is the animi is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
The
they're really
the
good.
diversity of animi that you've got or animus, whatever, is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, you've got
So I
like
think-
speed buffs, death drop. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So they were always sort of famous for the heavies Legion. So the lights were probably taken as more support elements previously, but they've changed that now a little bit as well. So the Nephilim, the soldier, that's quite good now. I think Brett, you've been messing around with that a bit as well.
Well, that's on my list of
Yeah.
highlights.
Soldier spam.
Yeah, they're pretty good now. They're pretty cheeky. So like the Terath, we talked about that in the old days as well. Still a really good shooting beast. And the characters are all really good.
Well,
I mean,
it might
Typhon
be better
18,
than really good. They're pretty bonkers.
yeah, Typhon 18 points. You look at me, that's a lot of points, and then you look at what he does. You're like, okay, that's why he's a lot of points. Yeah. So I mean, Proteus. You never really saw him much before, but I saw him quite a few times at the Welsh.
Yeah, he's decent.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's decent, yeah, he's good. So yeah, overall, yeah, really happy with them. I mean, the Carnivian, the lowly Carnivian. I mean, that thing, I would love that in Scorn. It's absolutely amazing. You just got to not just necessarily the stats, but all its additional abilities that Isle of Sight and Pathfinder is built in.
And smash and grab. It's
Smash and grab, yeah.
Spiny growth.
That's really cool.
Is awesome.
Spiny growth, yeah.
And assault, like it's insane. It's
Pass through 18.
unbelievable.
That's not low
Yeah,
power.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's such a good beast.
Yeah. So yeah,
Such a good beast.
I think this is why it's interesting to get that outsider's view on things, because I think sometimes when you play the faction, you sort of get in a mindset of picking out the negatives,
Yeah.
and you only see the weaknesses in your own models or your own options. And so when someone else is coming on, a Legion player maybe typically wouldn't take a Carnivian. But then when there's other people that play the factions that are like, oh god, give me a Carnivian, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to get the Legion players to reevaluate their view and opinion perhaps on some of those models, I think is really, really useful.
So what about you, Brett? What were you going for then?
I've gone Cloud9 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cloud9, I think all the way, for all the same reasons. There's so little across that battle group that, again, you wouldn't take or doesn't provide you an answer. You've already mentioned character beasts, but you didn't even mention Zuriel or Azrael, which are both, just outstanding beasts. But even the Scythian as another melee heavy hitter, Murderous, what a great ability that is. Animus to ignore tough, beautiful. Thresher on an initial melee, so again as a heavy war beast, what's his one minor flaw? Maybe his power again, just coming in at power 17, but
Okay. Let's get things straight. So, what is the base power strength of Scorn's primary?
Oh, listen, this isn't a score.
It's not Scorncast, Gav. It's not
What is
Scorncast.
it? Where would it make a
Gavin,
comparison?
it's not the time or place.
It's
I'm afraid.
16.
Stop distracting.
It's 16. Okay, carry on. 17.
Yeah,
In
but-
the
Why does
future,
it
Gav,
matter?
in the future,
Gav.
you can have this moment.
Gav, listen.
17
all right.
is not low.
No, listen, Gav, please. Why does it matter when you don't actually use your beast? You just assassinate. You just try and
I do.
assassinate. You don't.
I use them to make my caster go further forward.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what PNX you are. Liam, look at Liam. Give the people what they want. Talk about Scorn. Absolutely not, mate. No.
One day.
We'll do the Scorn one last.
Yeah.
We'll like do everything.
Build up all the rage. Build the rage up.
Literally. Right.
End up frenzying. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the options, isn't it? And you've alluded to it already, Gav. But I think some of the less seen but still dark horse options. So I have been playing Nephilium Soldier Spam, and it's good.
Yeah.
What have they got? What's different about? Have they got something else?
Well, I'll tell you the key thing they've got. It's a point cost of 7 points.
Oh, right, they're just 7.
That's the key thing they've got.
Yeah.
And I think what you've got to do is you've got to change your mindset. Don't think about them being a war beast. They're a 7-point solo with a boosting mechanic.
Yeah, they're Mat 7 straight off the bat as well.
So when you've got a virtue champion that costs 6 points, for 1 point more, I get a guy that's got more initial attacks, that hits harder, has got way more health and damage points. In the Children of Dragon theme force, he's going to be coming in at the same sort of armor.
Yeah.
So it's changed that perception of how you look at him. Is he a great war beast? Maybe not. Is he a great solo? No, he's not. He's an outstanding solo.
Yeah.
And if you start using him in that way rather than using him like a beast, I think it's really interesting. So for me, I've been having an absolute blast playing Nephilium Soldiers. And then the other thing I'd just go with, which is a firm favourite of mine forever, but Rakes.
Yeah, you love a Rake.
That little stealth doggy with leap, beautiful.
Yeah.
For 6 points, extended control, 2 initial melee attacks, inherent stealth.
Yeah.
What's not to like about that?
Well, it getting places you don't want it to be. That's what's
It
not
not
to
being
like.
Scorn.
Yeah.
So for me, solid Cloud 9 for the battle group. And Paul, where are you at?
Yeah, same. Cloud 9. Great beast. Canivin chassis, amazing. Seraph chassis, awesome. Being able to flare stuff. It's just the beast just brings so many options that you don't need to even think about with regards to getting from your caster. I can basically have +2 arm on a beast without thinking about a caster. Spiny growth dealing damage back to models that it hits is just a class ability.
Yeah.
Slipstream on a Seraph, brilliant. You have to look to casters most of the time to get an extra 2 inches of movement. Then the one I wanted to highlight from coming back to the game is the Mechana Shredder. That's a great, so 4 points and it's getting +2 movement and Pathfinder when it charges a construct model and can go without being fought. I mean, the great thing is just charging for free, because actually Legion don't have loads of charge for free. Charge for free. I know that there's, I think Abby can give it, but there's not. Yeah, sometimes that's a bit of a pain when a beast you're already slapping one down just to charge. So having a 4-point beast that can give charge for free, and if it's a construct model, it's +2 movement and Pathfinder. Well, great. There's loads of construct models in the game. That's half the armies you're going to play against will be construct models. So yeah, Mechana Shredder, really, really cool. I think the character beasts are a lot of fun. I think they've got better character beasts than a lot of factions. I think Golab's really cool. Zariel's really cool. Some other factions, I think their character beasts are a bit lackluster. You don't see them so much. So yeah, we lost Brett. Look at Brett. Is Brett just staying really still?
Oh, I think he's definitely frozen. He's on Cloud 9.
Brett's gone straight to Cloud 9 with all the battle.
Gone straight to Cloud 9.
All the battle group chat.
On his Legion chat. Yeah.
We just play it smooth, Gav, as the model professionals that we are. We'll just play it smooth and have
We'll just talk about Scorn, right? That seems reasonable.
Like a gritty Brett Wilkie. Just smiling away. He'll come back. But yeah, it's interesting what you said about the Angel, because I've heard people kind of moaning about the Angel a little bit, because there's a lot of, is it the Hermit that lets you ignore a hit?
Yeah, it does.
There's a button, does an Archon do it as well? There's an Archon that lets you ignore a hit.
Yeah, there's the troll one, the Dunian Archon.
Yeah.
It basically you can do it every turn as well.
So people saying, "Oh, Angel's no good because you just got that one like crazy powerful attack that gets ignored." But like, I don't know, it feels a fairly situational analysis.
Yeah, so Hermit's once per game. So I mean, you can play around that. I do get it, but there's lots of powerful attacks in the game that Hermit nulls.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like, oh, we've lost Brett.
He's gone completely.
We've
He's had enough.
We've lost Brett, and it has messed up our stream setup.
It might rejoin. It might be fine.
Boo! We'll let him
So
rejoin.
with
And in the
the
meantime,
cash
we'll just
shredder.
have your head. I just see the top of your head. It's fine.
I'm going to slow down
I'll
a
get
bit.
rid of
though.
him, and I will get rid of you. There we go. So it's just my face for now, but people will be able to hear the audio.
Oh, right, nice. So the mechanic shredder, like you're saying as well, like half the armies in the game have construct. Well, it's actually more now. There's loads more War Machine factions.
Yeah.
But every table will have an objective, and they're all construct models as well.
Yeah.
So you can always use that as a springboard to get your extra distance.
Pretty good. Should we go on to units?
Yeah, I think it was Solo.
Oh, solos and units. All right, let's do solos.
Yeah, solos and units. Yeah. So
Go on, Gav. What do you reckon to the solos?
I don't know. I don't know about the solos on this. There's some amazing ones, but then there's some not so good as well. So I've gone like a dog with two tails on this.
Yeah.
So there's loads of fun options that are really cool for club games and games you can tell your mates over a beer about. Oh, I think
There we
Chris
go.
Jones again.
Wilkie's coming back in action. Yeah, I think.
Models that can still be competitive in a tournament, but I mean, there's some. It's probably so hard. There's some that's so meta defining, like the Blight Archon. That is massively changed Legion's game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's that was one I was going to highlight because I think the solos can be a little bit more on the lackluster side compared to the factions.
Yeah.
But the Blight Archon and what that has done for the faction is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know the Archons are just like they're pretty good across the board, aren't they? Do you know what I mean, they're fairly.
They are, but they tend to be some sort of like power solo, don't they? They have maybe some sort of support element or some ability that helps your army a bit. But
Yeah, Brett was playing that broken one against me the other day loads. I didn't realise how ridiculous that. You know, the one that's got the strength debuff.
Oh, the Death Archon. Yeah, so it's a super solo with a bit of a teleporty kind of thing and a thresher attack. I suppose it does stationary as well. That's quite cool.
That thing is an absolute demon. It's
yeah,
wild.
it's a wrecking ball. But the Blight Archon can do a little bit of that, but it's not really what it's for. Is it? It's there to change the way that you can build your lists.
Yeah. It just allows you to go like, because when I got back into the game and was saying to Brett, I've seen this Legion army, I think I'd buy this Legion army. Tell me a bit about where Legion are at and what they're doing. Brett was like, oh, the Blight Archon has changed the lot. Like, it's allowed Legion to basically run the list that they've always wanted to run. Really beast heavy. Because it was always like a Fury management issue, wasn't it? You know, you've got, great, I've got like 5-6 beasts, 5-6 heavies. Fine. But you're gonna come into some problems when you want to try and use all those 5 and 6 heavies at the same 5-6 heavies at the same time.
It's like even turn one, isn't it? You can't necessarily run them all. And still be safe on your camp.
Not ideal. But the Blight Archon having a solo that you can have a little battle group, the fact that it has a +2 armor spell that it can put on anything.
Yep.
Is what's super wild. And then it's speed 7 with a spray, which synergizes really well with a bunch of stuff in Legion, the Seraph and everything else that's boostable. And then it's got Impending Doom, and it's got a battle group spell that gives you sprint. So like it's a cracking piece. Impending Doom's nice as well.
I never thought I'd see Impending Doom on anything else than Butcher 3.
I'm surprised to see it in Legion, but I kind of like it on it though because it's one of those where. Yeah, cool. Legion have got access to Impending Doom on a speed 7 flying solo. Yep. But if we've lost him again. But
he's completely gone.
So I have to get rid of your face again. But if you Impending Doom, it's probably dead. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not gonna if you're flying in Impending Doom in something. Then
it's always there, so your opponent has to be aware of it. So it's one of those things that you're not necessarily going to use, but your opponent has to play around it. The fact that it's there.
Yeah.
So just by being on the card, It allows you to play slightly more aggressively.
Agree.
So I want to talk about the Blightedness Sorceress and Hellion. She's pretty cool.
I mean, that one's like a rec point. As you get as a requisition point as well. There we go.
Yeah, so you can get that free.
Get you back on the screen, Gav, as well here with a bit of magic. Hopefully, here we go. Unveil him. Ta-da, there you go. Smooth as. Look at that smooth. We barely missed Brett. We barely noticed he's gone. It's been so smooth. No one's gonna know.
Yeah. Well, he's that loud. I can hear him from his house. You see.
Yeah, man. Yeah, his voice causes some turbulence, doesn't it? So I think, I think Brett is similarly a bit, about the solos. I think.
There's the ones that, like I say, have changed the faction. There's ones that are obviously still in the faction that that will always be in this. You got the Nis.
Yeah.
What's it called? Is it the Shepherd? Yeah.
Yeah,
the Shepherd. Yeah. So that will always be there. And then is it the Forsaken?
You got the classic. You got the classic Forsaken.
Well. Obviously, Spellmaster, nice little cheeky 1 point arc node.
Yeah, vital little piece.
Yeah.
And the Deathstalker, I like the Deathstalkers. The solos are pretty nice for just shredding infantry.
Is it? I mean, it used to be the bane of my life in Mark II, but is it still?
Well, they've still got sniper, right?
Yeah, they can still do auto
what are they? Still rat 8
auto
sniper.
Point.
Yeah, do an auto point to give other Striders in the command range Swift Hunter.
That's the thing, though.
Ignore tough. That's all right. It's always, where have I put my bottle open? Always super solid into the old troll boys. What's my bottle open? That's super annoying. Oh, no, it's there. Yes, I think the solos are all right, but not exactly like setting the world on fire. Particularly after you look at how great the casters are, how great the battle group is. The solos are a bit, And you're right about the Blight, the Hellion Sorcerer Girl.
Yeah, just the ability to stop people shooting. I mean,
look at Liam, ignores tough roll needs banning. I used to love playing Liam Jordan so much when he had 80 trolls and you just had like 2 deaths.
The BD deployment zone, zone 1.
Killing 4 a turn.
Yeah,
those were the days, Liam. We were all trolls.
Yeah.
Fond memories, mate. Happy memories.
Yeah. So Ysilla as well. I think Brett probably wants to mention her. I know he's had her quite.
Well, Brett's left us in the dark, mate. We could talk about whatever now. So it feels like
we got out of sight though. It's fine.
Yeah, the teacher's out the class, or the students have taken over. We could talk about whatever. Ysilla's cool.
He's got her in quite a lot of his lists.
Yeah.
Shatterstorm, situationally brilliant with the RFP.
She's got Puppet Master as well.
Puppet Master, yeah. So the ability just to put Puppet Master out there where he wants.
There's Puppet Master. I felt from going away and then coming back to the game, feels like there's a lot of Puppet Master around, and feels like a lot of lists seem to lean on it a little bit, particularly Legion, Lilith 4.
Because obviously it's a game of luck, isn't it? Ultimately, you can talk about statistics all day long.
Yeah.
But you never know what you're going to roll on those dice. When it's important, you need to get that Puppet Master.
It's amazing for those spells. Like for Lilith 4, when Lilith's a 6 Fury caster, you want to cast Mortality.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, it's fine, I can boost it. But boosting it with that Puppet Master, you just feel... When your whole turn hinges on landing Mortality on something, you don't want to cast that twice on Fury 6 boosted. I mean, she can cast it for 2 as an inherent ability, but having that Puppet Master is such a relief when you're lining up for something important. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're being a bit hard on them. I just because Ysilla's decent. The Blight Archon changes everything. Like it's a wild. But I guess
it's just I don't look at Legion solos and go, oh yeah, I really wish I had that one.
Yeah,
for
that's
my faction.
fair, yeah.
There's none of that sort of faction envy really.
Yeah.
With the solos.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe it's because I've got better Fury management. I don't know. I guess.
What, just personally or within the faction, just as an individual?
Both.
You've got better Fury management than I have, both in the game and in real life. When I was playing all those games with Brett the other day, I was just looking like, there's a lot of Fury out. I just like, I don't know how this is all coming in. I need Brett's kid to whack the table and just knock it off.
It's like a Welsh when you shout me over. You go, Gav, how does Frenzy work again? So what's Frenzy? Oh my god, it's the Blightbringer.
Yeah. How's Frenzy work again? We might need a few frenzy checks. Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, solos, yeah, maybe not quite as heavy hitting, or as exciting as some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
But with some noticeable recent additions. What about units? What are you thinking on the units?
So the units, I've gone for. Oh, give me the scoring system back up again. What's that?
7 tails of a dog's hair. Whatever
It's
it was.
Seventh Heaven. I've gone for.
Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven, which is like the next one's down. So that's the great pieces that allow for competitive builds with a varied playstyle. So
They got the best unit in the game. Can you read my mind? Best unit in the game.
is the best unit in the game the Black Forest Shard?
No.
No. What?
Joking.
Okay. Why didn't I?
Black Forest Gatto.
The Black Forest Gatto, yeah. Who do you think the best unit in the game
Best
is?
Hellmouths. Hilarious fun for everyone all day. 24. Get them on. 2 of them on the table. Enjoy yourself. Awesome unit. Killer unit. Just a great unit. What fun.
Yeah, they are good. They are really good. Are they best unit in the game? I don't know.
Listen, they're not the best unit in the game either, but they're incredibly good fun.
They are,
Like a well placed Hellmouth, 6 points. Wilkie Brett's back. A well placed Hellmouth will ruin everybody's day.
Well, yeah, definitely. But it also, I think, probably allows you to play into the whole beast heavy list, doesn't it? So you've got that unit that's going to contest well for you.
Yeah.
But also, it can grab out those other heavies from the others, bring them in, and let your heavies kill them without any peace trade.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're great. And the thematic of them is really cool. They're super nice models.
Yeah, it does
6
look
points.
cool.
And they
Depends
just
if you're into tentacles or not.
they just send some lists into like Meltdown. Like a well placed one. They're just thinking, oh man, that 6 points just means I can't put that beast or that heavy or whatever there.
Yeah.
And they could just contest it, just constant contesting of a zone.
Yeah.
Which
Just like standing in front of a heavy, like
Yeah.
and I'll spend a heavy's activation to kill this little
awesome.
tiny tentacle that's going to come back.
I've been using them with Lilith 4, which sounds weird because Lilith 4 sits at the back and shoots you. You think, why are you using a Hellmouth with Lilith 4? That's dumb. But in the games, it's actually been really good because Lilith and her battle group sit, back table, and the Hellmouths just get, they've got to come in and kill those Hellmouths. They just sit there contesting, just being really annoying. It's such a solid.
And is it a power strength 18? The bite on that? The actual Hellmouth?
Yeah. No, it's armor 18. It's power strength 15, I think, on the
15,
bite.
okay.
Yeah. Wilkie Brett's back. Let me unveil him to the world.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Ta-da! And there you are, Gav. Ta-da.
All right, that's
He's
it.
back.
Thanks very much.
Yeah,
everyone.
thanks everyone.
We'll see you next week.
Brett, listen, that was so smooth. I mean, I'm not going to say we didn't notice you'd gone, but the production skills and moves, it was so slick. I don't think anyone will have realised. There's all sorts going on.
I'll watch it back.
You watch it back.
There's no trolling.
literally frozen on a word. That's
We've
brilliant.
lost him again. Look at that. I'm just going to leave him there this time, though, because I think.
That's cruel.
All right, I'll view you back.
This is cruel.
Oh, now it's sent you all skewed again. I'm going to have to turn your thing off.
Okay.
Oh no, he's back again. You're back. It's like Chuckle Brothers stream. Chuckle. He's back. Hang on. Let me unveil him again. Hey there. Right. Honestly, it's so smooth. It's like live. I tell you what. Do you know what I've learned tonight? That I was born for live TV.
I reckon you'd be good on television.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the insult.
But a face for radio, is that
Yeah,
what?
not me. Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Thanks, mate. Well, I've done the odd TV bit. Not enjoyed it particularly. So we've
We're
gone.
just talking about units, Brett. Sorry,
We've done
covered
solos.
haven't
Solos, middle of the road. Nah. Gav gave him a tail with 7 dog cats.
you? A dog with
A
12 tails.
a dog with 9 clouds.
Yeah.
A dog with, you go dog with 9 clouds. And now we're just on units. And Gav was talking a bit, and I interrupted him probably rudely and said, "What's the best unit in the game?" Hellmouths.
All got a bit excited about helmets.
And then we realised they're probably not the best unit in the game, but what a unit! What a piece! What a piece! What do you think about the units, Brett? What's your take?
My unit score was 7th Heaven. So I think, got some great pieces, really great options, range of different things. And for me, units that I take, Raptors, I absolutely love Raptors.
Yeah, Raptors is great.
I don't.
I think they're one of the still meaningfully impactful cavalry units in the game as a whole.
Yeah.
I think cavalry are just no longer fast enough to impact the game like they used to. There's so many war beasts and battle groups that just trivially out-threat them, and that they don't project that threat that they used to. But Raptors have still got that presence and capability, so I think they're outstanding. And then for Legion, Ice Witchers. If you want 5 points to spend on something,
What a unit.
Ice Witchers.
What a unit. 3 Puppet Masters. I mean,
Yeah.
What
so
a
we were just
piece.
talking about Puppet Master, and you need it. You need it.
what a
don't you?
piece. Lilith
3 Puppet Masters.
Ravagore Puppet Master in Shooting Your Caster is some high-tech, high-level, high-tech, big galaxy brain play.
Yeah.
The Puppet Master on charging Angeliuses with an armor-piercing attack.
Yeah.
Again, just money. And there's so many clutch rolls that Legion rely on.
Yeah.
And so just anything you can do to somehow manipulate or influence, maximize those opportunities are huge for me. So they're the 2 units I think really shine from my perspective.
There's a couple that are lost in there, isn't there? The grotesques are a bit lost.
Yeah.
I remember when they came out and you saw them a bit, and then but they're a bit lost at sea, aren't they? As a
I think
unit.
they've always been a little bit mediocre. But I mean, I've heard people raving about them, but I don't particularly know why. Maybe I need to play into them a bit more.
I mean, there's not much you don't see, is there? Because even the Nis Archers have been having a little role to play with Mechanolith, and
Yeah.
there's, like I said, there's not many of the units that people just flat refuse to take or deem unplayable, as it were.
Agreed.
So yeah, they're a solid 7 for me. I think, like I say, that in that bracket.
Yeah, that's what I went for as well.
Yeah, I'd give them a 7 as well.
7th Heaven.
Scouts are great. I love Stride. I was playing them the other day against you on a Brett, and I just remember how much I used to love Striders as a stealth unit, just picking off screens, doing combined ranged attacks. Just a really cool aesthetics are really nice. Always preferred them model wise to the Nis. Just thought they looked way cooler.
Yeah,
Really nice.
they're much nicer.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. Good. Yeah, decent all round. I think we scored Warlocks and the battle group and the casters. We came in pretty strong, didn't we? Solos, maybe not setting the world on fire, but we did say, Brett, that the Blight Archon is a real piece, like a game changer.
Yeah.
A game changing piece.
I think it almost goes without saying that probably the Archons across the game
Yeah, I said that.
are hugely impactful and influential on how those factions play, the options they bring to the board. There's not a bad Archon, is there? But you're dead right, the Legion one brings loads to the table. Fury management's huge.
Yeah.
+2 armor spell, huge.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Decent boostable spray, huge. So yeah, brings lots of utility and has a contribution to make every game. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
So that just leaves us to finish with themes then. So the theme forces and what we make of those.
So I got kind of lost with the themes because I don't play the faction. So it's really easy to look at a faction. I found this obviously when you try and build lists in other factions all the time. When you're like, I'm just going to build a list of that. And I look at the theme and I go, no. So I find the themes.
No.
Yeah, just
No.
no. Because it relies on you requiring such a complex understanding of how your army works and pieces together. I find it really hard to break the theme. None of them particularly stand out as amazing. Some of the rec choices are okay, but they are in a lot of other themes as well. But so from as an outsider with a very sort of across the table kind of understanding of the faction, I've gone for a pig in muck. I think that it's the models that make the army, not necessarily the theme.
I went a bit higher than that, Gav. For me, there were sort of somewhere between maybe Seventh Heaven and then the Dog with Two Tails. Like they're in and around that level. You know, I think they've things like Children of the Dragon, you know, offers a really good theme benefit, allows you to take the models that you want to take. Oracles of Annihilation is sort of coming into its own a little bit. That was perhaps overlooked a little bit earlier in Mark III and when it first came out in terms of the benefits it offers. But I think as a few more models have been released, the value of that theme force has sort of come into its own. We've got Primal Terrors, still solid. Yeah. Like it took a bit of a hit losing the 3 Hellmouths, but still, you know, nothing wrong with that. Out of all of them, the one that I played the least would be Ravens, and the theme benefits there. But again, I can see merit and value in terms of an option. So yeah, somewhere for me, middle of the road.
Would you ever consider building a Legion list outside of theme? Is that something you've ever considered?
No.
No, you just lose too much on the points, don't you?
Yeah, it's not so much necessarily the theme benefit, is it? It's the 12 to 15 points of additional models that you get.
Yeah. I've thought about it at school. Anyway, that's another day.
Yeah, to listen, honestly, Scott, they're getting knocked. They were going to be next, but they're so far back the list.
They're just going worse.
By the time we get to them, you'll have talked about them so much, we're like,
don't need to bother.
Yeah. Won't need to. Yeah.
I just to kind of chuck my 2 cents in, and just for time as well, I guess I really like Ravens of War as a theme. I think the Mark target is great. I love the fact there that's kind of the Strider theme, and I really like Striders. And I guess my frustration with the theme lists is that I want to put I really like a Strider screen. I think they're an excellent screening unit. I like screening units. I like screening units that can work from the beginning of the game and then block late game. Whereas the Hex Hunters and some of the other screens, they don't work. They don't do enough work for me at the beginning of the game. And that's not to say they're bad units, they're great units, but I love the fact Striders deploy, turn 1, I'm killing that, I'm shooting that, I'm contesting, I'm in the way, I'm dead. That's fine, that's what I want from a screen. And Ravens is really the only way you can go if you want to get that in. And then obviously some of your choices are slightly limited in terms of the character beasts and bringing other stuff in. But I've been playing Ravens with Lily 4 and Brett, I was playing you with those at the weekend when I thought they're really cool. But yeah, I agree with what Brett said. Oracles maybe you see a fair bit of, but I've been playing that Animag list in Primal Terrors, and that's been pretty cool. Again, I'm not like the theme benefits aren't blowing me away, but like Vengeance on Warmongers is pretty good.
Yeah,
that's you know they're already going to get +2 from no quarter. Like another 3-inch move is pretty solid. So I think that's a nice theme benefit, and you can it's definitely taken a hit from the days of being able to take 2 Hellmouths. So you're now not seeing the double Chosen that you used to see. You used to see 2 units of Chosen, didn't you, and then double Hellmouth and some smaller Ogre boys in. You don't really see that so much, but it still feels strong. Still feels like a cool theme. And then Oracles for the more kind of classic. Let's just get all the beasts in, you know. Let's kind of get a bit of everything. But yeah, I think the themes are okay. My only frustration would be that like my personal preference of screen always drives me down the Ravens route, and it'd be really nice to have maybe a Veil list with a diverse battle group and a Strider screen, but not going in. If you go in Ravens, you don't get Typhon. You know, you kind of miss out a little bit, but yeah, I think they're all right. The themes actually was one bit that concerned me before when I stopped playing. Was I felt like everything was a bit too theme, but you know, you could kind of guess which factions were going to have what themes, and that would just dictate the list. Whereas it doesn't feel as bad now. You know, the themes don't feel to like have such a huge say on what people take in. It feels a little bit more diverse again, and that seems to be the case with Legion. I don't know about other factions, but there seems to be a fair bit of diversity.
I'm not saying anything.
No, you absolutely can't say the S word, not at this time.
I'm not saying it.
Funny. Cool. I think that is all the categories, Brett.
It is all the categories. So
smooth out.
By the magic of a bit of Rachel Riley,
Excuse me?
we can give you an overall score. So if we combine all our sort of rankings and little ratings between the 3 of us, it brings Legion out in a very, very solid 7th heaven. Which
seems alright.
For me probably feels about right, I think.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So, highly playable, seems to be loads of options, loads of fun to put on the board. And, I mean, they are popular, aren't they? We've seen plenty of them about in the UK meta.
Yeah.
Very popular at the Welsh.
Oh, they're mostly really pretty models, aren't they? Maybe not necessarily the nicest to transport or play with, the wings falling off all over the place, but played a game at Welsh's poor lad, his Legion army was literally falling apart the whole time. But they are really nice, aren't they? The whole dragon aesthetic is something that appeals to a lot of people.
Yeah, PNS 21 Dragons, that's...
Those boys appeal.
That's the way forward.
Talking about Legion models falling apart, I do remember the morning of a WTC gluing together Jamie Perkins, broken, shattered Angelii.
Someone bought it. No, check this out, Brett. I met this guy, Martin. You know Martin from London. He bought the army. Right. He was like, "Oh, I've got Jamie Perkins Legion," and I was like, "Mate, that's Legion has been through some. There's some stories behind that Legion." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I told him the story of Moke throwing the box at Jamie's head in the middle of the night, and it just like opening midair, models smashing off the wall. WTC, like it was like the Friday. We hadn't even played any games. It was literally like the first night. Moke had chipped his tooth and smashed his face open. Got so drunk that he thought someone had assaulted him, when really it was just little Mark who jumped on his back of his head, trapped his hands behind him and smashed him into a serrated Polish dance floor. And then we got him back in the room, blood, he just collapsed in a bed, then got up and went, and just like threw Jamie's models, open midair, models everywhere. We spent like an hour gluing all Jamie's models back together. Poor Jamie would try to get some sleep, and he was a true performer, you know what I mean? He was getting his beauty sleep, we were getting smashed. And then
for those that have not met Moke, he's a really nice guy.
He's now.
He's not.
He's now. No, he's a legend. He's hilarious.
My take home from that was we've got the really, really crappy, cheap super glue as well. That's just
glues your fingers.
Like just squirts water out of the tube. Then you just sat there like trying to just hold an Angelius wing to the smallest of connection points for half an hour while you're like blowing on it just to try and speed up that QRP process.
Which is alright the next day. I think we won all our games the next day. Didn't we get in the semi-finals that year? Played the Americans. And it was bloody Jamie that lost to Jake Van Meter. Or was it Will Pagani? Anyway, fun times. Fun times.
Cool. Yeah, if you're a Legion player, congratulations, guys. I think you've got a great faction on your hands.
Yeah, and good players, good people playing the faction. Do you know what I mean? Some of the best personalities in the game. People
some great diplomats I've heard in the Legion community.
Real strong diplomats. There's a cool Facebook group as well. So if people are watching and want to be in a Facebook group, give me a shout or just message us on Twitter, and I'll get you added. It's a nice little crew. Some of them might even be watching. Who knows? All right, well, we're going to keep doing this series, aren't we? We're going to cover all the factions, Scorn last, maybe go around a few times before we get to them. Yeah. But yeah, we'll be regularly looking at the factions, and there'll be more bits and bobs of content that we'll be putting out. I might do a solo Rampager and just moan about Scorn for a few episodes, just to.
Go for it, mate. Go for it. I haven't even touched you with them yet.
I beg your pardon.
Great.
Wicked. All right, should we sign off?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
Thanks for watching the show, guys. I'm going to do the exit intro, so Brett and Gav. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the show. Follow us on Twitch, YouTube, like, subscribe, etc, etc, etc. And yeah, let us know what you think. Feedback is very welcome. See you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.